Hey guys, this is Rainwolf, and we are back with our podcast. I hope you didn't miss us too much.
Hey guys, Kirito Silverheart here.
And this is Asuna Silverheart.
And we are back, and just a heads up to all, this is going to be the first of 2 episodes that will come out this week. We are covering Yashahime Season 2 and 86 Act 2. So first off, we are starting with Yashahime Episode 1. And by the looks of it, most majority of this was just a recap episode.
The first half, at least.
Yeah, but it was necessary though, because I'll be honest, like I don't remember what I did yesterday, let alone what happened in Yashahime.
Yeah, with the time gap we had, and the thing is, with the recap they did give us, it was a good refresher of what really happened on that last episode, and we got to meet Todosai.
I was so happy to see Todosai.
Same old man, and he pretty much bashed up Broha.
Yeah,
she had it coming.
Yeah, so for those of you who joined us for our first season of Yashahime, I was the noob when it came to the Inuyasha universe. I didn't know a whole lot of the episode. I knew several of the characters and things like that. Todosai was one of the ones that I was semi-familiar with. I knew just enough about who he was to kind of get the gist of everything for this season. And to see him come back, was just a real joy, a real sight to see, especially when we start getting the interactions with Moroha that we were just discussing. Am I wrong?
He treats her like her father.
That's exactly.
One smart mouth comment, and then whack!
So, as this goes on, at first she didn't notice him, and he's just like, oh wait, you're Todosai. It's like, yeah, he's heard about her from Myoga. It's like, you're Inuyasha and Kagome's daughter, and once again, brought to her attention on who her parents are.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jokin trying to say, I'm Master Jokin.
Oh.
It causes a fit.
Ren was the only person who could call him Master Jokin ever, and you wouldn't laugh. Like, Ren was the only one that made it sound sincere. Everybody else was just like, no.
But it was a lovely little interaction that now, because when we saw Jokin the last time with the girls, there was really no interaction. It was more of him on the side, Shishomaru pretty much telling him to be quiet. And then now there's this whole pretty much family ordeal, the best way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that was a thing.
Now they go into the moment of trying to get Tenseiga. And he was like, no, it's going to take 3 days for inform. It'll be too late because to revive Tsuna, you have only 1 hour. After that, it's over.
Correct me, is this something that we knew in the past that was a limitation to the time frame of the power of Tenseiga?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay, so that 1 hour limitation was brought up before?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was.
Because I didn't remember it.
Even in this, but also in the old Inuyasha, it was something that was known because there have been moments where either Kagome or some demon or human that they were helping, Ichishomori would show up, but it's over the time frame. Oh, I can't revive him. It's been longer than the time Tenseiga can help. So we have Lightsaber Tenseiga.
And as Asuna so eloquently put it, called it.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, this was basically her, I think all of our assumption as we were wrapping up season 1.
Yeah.
That because Toa is so well known for using a broken sword and basically turning it into a demon energy saber, that this was what was going to happen when Shishomaru shows up and says, here, try using this.
And this is where the rough fatherly love comes in. It's like, I'm going to teach you, but I'm not going to give you any hits.
Mm-hmm.
And then she taps in, the moon mark pops on her forehead, and now she can see the Underworld's minions.
So let's talk about something real quick that happened right before this. So as she's channeling, she pours every ounce of her demon energy into the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And as she forms the blade, she's staring at Sasuna, and all of a sudden she sees the dream butterfly.
Uh-huh.
And while she's standing there confused, Shishomaru makes the comment of, like, what the hell are you doing? Don't be distracted. Don't be distracted.
By trivial things.
Yeah. So does this mean that Shishomaru can see the butterfly as well? And he's just saying, hey, you need to ignore this? Or is he just like, hey, get your mind straight and just do what you have to do?
I think it's a mix of both.
I have a theory that he can see it. He, in a way, is linked to it as well, just as much as Ren is. And Yeah, it was kind of, it's a little bit of both. Like, stop paying attention to it, but I just thought it was funny the use that where he said don't get distracted by trivial things, and I screamed it. Like, I was like, that's BS. What's going on with that is not a trivial matter.
But
But
the
Yeah.
he's
opening
not.
kind of spoils it there for us too as
Yeah.
well.
Well, I was getting ready to say something we didn't discuss was the new opening.
It was beautiful.
Amazing. Like, I like this better
Really
than I did
good.
the original opening. Like, the openings keep getting better.
There's two things in that opening that I want to point out. One, obviously, is where Shishomaru destroys the dream butterfly, pretty much where we were getting at. And two, I thought the raccoon dog king was dead
Yeah.
from what we got from Suzaku
Mhm.
in the first season.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he just went into seclusion or something after what happened with, well, I guess rescuing is the right word, rescuing Moroha from Shishomaru and Kirimaru when Inuyasha and Kagome were trapped.
True.
Maybe I don't know. It could just be a flashback too.
Or then again, he also could have been in a dire state from what he was saying, probably didn't look good.
Yeah.
Or, this could be another one of those things of the heir to the throne is supposed to go out and, make other connections or adventure or trials by fire or something.
True.
It wouldn't be too far out there to think that.
Third, there was no Shippo in that opening.
I was wondering when you were going to bring that up.
Rain Wolf is not going to sleep until he knows if Shippo's alive.
I loved Shippo. It's like, even though he was that childish
He
kind
was
of character,
cute.
and the type of brotherly bond that there was with Inuyasha, and also of all the ordeals he's
cute.
gone through, and with what was said with him at the end of Inuyasha, or not the end, but like before they went off to battle, and what also a little research that I did dig up, that he went to become stronger. If anything happened, he wouldn't be just sitting on the side. But who knows?
Maybe soon. Maybe soon.
So now Totosai is fixing Setsuna's weapon, and that blade looks nasty, but he just throws Moroha out there. It's like, you're like your father, you're strong enough. While forging this, a number of evil spirits are going to spawn, and he wasn't joking.
Yeah, this influx of enemies is on a level I don't think we've seen since, God, what?
First season.
Yeah.
Not of Yashahime, but Inuyasha as a general.
Inuyasha, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a hot minute to see something like that. It was awesome, though.
Oh, yeah.
It was necessary to get the next part that comes up going, but yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, there were so many demons.
I think Kilala has to jump in because Moroha can't deal with all of them. One,
Oh,
she's
I
Okay,
was
already
so
but
pretty
seriously,
worn out.
Kilala for the effing win here. Okay, Kilala just comes up out of nowhere and starts ripping and tearing into these things.
Oh, yeah.
Classic Kilala.
It's already bad enough. Moroha is completely worn out from tapping into her Inuyasha side for the first time without using the Rouge. I'm surprised she's even moving right now with the fire of these arrows, fighting these evil spirits. It's just a whole
And
giant
let's not
mess.
forget, she is using her priestess powers,
Yeah.
to try and fight by using these holy
Well,
arrows.
because that's
she
the only way
is
she's going to get
limited.
rid of most of them.
Yeah,
Because
but
she
we
has
gotta
no
remember,
demon
she is
energy right
limited.
now, so she can't use her blade's ability because her blade's ability needs demon energy.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, even so, she is still going to be limited because they're arrow-based attacks. It's not like she forms just pure energy arrows. She
not
channels
that
energy
skilled.
into physical arrows.
Yeah. She needs a medium in this case.
Yeah, which, I mean, seems to be a common thread amongst all three of the girls.
But it's also a way for them to develop.
This is one of the things that even Totosai brings
Yeah,
up when
yeah.
he's working on Sasuna's weapon.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, this is a man-made weapon. This isn't strong enough to do jack diddly.
Yeah, and definitely with the blood blade that she inherited from her father.
Yeah, now, okay, so let's talk about the Bloodblade for a second,
Mm-hmm.
because a couple interesting things get brought up here. So, number one, we obviously know that this comes from Shishomaru's bloodline.
Uh-huh.
Did Shishomaru ever use a Bloodblade?
It's very rare, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
He normally used his claws for most kills because he's so strong that there was really no reason.
I've seen the claws, I've seen that, like, green energy whip thing,
Yeah.
but I've never, I
But that's
have
his
no
poison.
recollection of, right, I have no recollection of a Bloodblade.
There are a number of
unless that
abilities
was
he does
kind of-
have.
Okay. But number two, Totosai mentions that the Bloodblade even has the power to sever all forms of fate in a single stroke.
That I'm not too sure on.
Does that...
That was...
I think that's some, like, OP dark side foreshadowing here.
Yeah, and she did nick Karimaru in the cheek with it.
Uh-huh.
During their fight.
Because now we've established that now both of these sisters, Toa and Sasuna, have some sort of ability over fate.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that Sasuna is developing this blood blade, it has the power to sever all forms of fate. And right in the same scene, we have Toa channeling every bit of her demon energy to the point where she becomes human again.
Mm-hmm.
Into Saiga to try and save her sister's life. Again, severing the connection to death to control fate.
But that's something, the blade, but also we've kind of, with Toa, there's been kind of that, with her nature and everything, besides Shishomaru, even though I'm still surprised sometimes that he's able to do it, because the blade, the ability will not work unless you're sincerest of heart. This whole half, it's a very interesting, a lot of action-packed, but it's also crazy when Shishomaru, after Toa had passed out, and he catches her, of all things. I was like, we know he's had sincerity about his children, and now he's actually taking action to some degree. Because he lays her down, puts his hand on her cheek.
She's channeled all of her energy, she's become human. She gets that spark of her true demon power again, with her eyes turning blue. Right about the time she finally taps in and notices the pallbearers and decides this is when I have just enough energy, and makes that decisive strike and severs all 4 of them in one swing.
Oh yeah, because she had no strength for a second swing.
Yeah, I mean, this is epic. Like, the fact that she's actually able to pull this off. But I gotta say, one of the things I like is the fact of using Tensaiga in this moment to the point where it exhausts every ounce of her demon energy. To the point she becomes super weakened and human, and she goes unconscious. Am I the only one that's really, really glad that this happened? Because let's think about it. Toa is such a freaking bleeding heart in season 1. Do you have any idea how many times she's going to come across somebody that, like, Setsuna or Moroha has ended up killing and just be like, oh no, I feel bad that we killed them. Resurrection.
I'm going to bitch slap Toa.
Well,
who
she
doesn't
needs to
want
grow
to?
up. She needs to grow up. So that's the issue. She's very immature, and I think that's another thing that she is having to learn this and train with this. And I think as the story goes on, she'll become more tolerable, I hope. I think she'll grow up is what it is. She's already gotten a bit better from the beginning, but yeah, she's naive is what it is. She's naive and young.
Giving that final swing is the problem she has. Because even though they are beings of the netherworld, they're pretty much dead already. Just take them out. They're not living. There's no need to care for them.
Well, she couldn't move.
Yeah, she's weakened to the point where she's channeled all of her energy into the blade, and now she doesn't have the energy to even move. And that's where that last spark of demon energy kicks up, and she makes that swing, and it works.
And then Totosai finishes her new blade, throws it.
Yeah, right about the time Shishomaru says Sasuna, and she wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, as all those demons are flooding in on top of them, Austin and I were talking, it's like, you are effing with the wrong demon lord here to pull something like this. Like, Shishomaru could have wiped this all out in one swing. But no, he wakes up his daughter.
He wanted her to do it, you know? He wanted her to do it. And it gives her purpose, I think. She is a demon hunter. She was raised a demon hunter.
Well, and she's also got more of the demon hunter is one thing, but also out of all of them, even though she was killed, has more energy than anybody right now.
Oh, she does.
She has the Ross power, yes.
She didn't die because she was weak. She died a sacrificial death is what happened.
Yeah.
She pretty much died for her sister.
Well, I mean, let's face it, Kirimaru basically caught her off guard.
Yeah.
He really
Like,
did.
she had just made her swing, left a mark. I wouldn't say she got cocky in that moment.
But also the
But she made her
had
swing
was not reliable.
Right. I mean, the blood blade came out and made the mark on his face, and he killed her in a fit of rage.
Yeah, because he swung, went through her blade, through her chest.
Yeah, she freaked out that he got that rage that quick, and he just sliced down before she could even blink.
It was a mess. But also, Setsuna also has more of her father's perspective on things. If you're attacking me, I'm going to rip you a new one.
Yeah.
She's also more skilled than the other two, honestly. Even though Maroha has been hunting demons her whole life. One, Maroha's a quarter demon, so it's a little harder for her to tap into some of the things that, she needs to.
And she was never properly trained.
Well, she's good at what she does, and I don't think she feels the need to maybe pursue getting better because she was just always good enough to make it. She only needed to kill demons to make money. She didn't need to kill demons for any other reason. For Maroha, it was a money-making deal at that time. So now...
It's brought a more of a perspective for her.
Yeah, and I think this season's probably going to be more directed with Maroha, which I'm interested to see.
Because of the opening.
Yeah.
Well, and because of some leaked information that we got in between the seasons.
True.
Yeah. Setsuna is definitely the most powerful of the three.
Well, I think even though with Maroha is a quarter, she's only been taught by a wolf demon of the wolf tribe. She was strong and powerful, but not compared to a number of the people that Setsuna had trained with. She was training with a tribe of demon hunters that had been doing it for generations.
Yeah, it's the difference between Maroha basically had survival training and Setsuna had focused, disciplined, military level training.
And it also doesn't help that Maroha's abilities are split between priestess and demon.
That's
so
true too.
To have her full potential with only getting one side trained, it lacks the other end.
Oh, yeah.
But going back to Setsuna and her awakening here, while I looked at Asuna and I said, this is probably one of the most BA resurrections I've seen in quite some time. But then I thought about it and I was like, okay, Blood Blade plus new weapon. And we see she takes out what has to be thousands, if not probably close to 1 million creatures.
Yeah.
In one swing. Can we say OPAF?
Very true. Well, and it's also where she's actually been able to tap into her demon abilities to some degree without it taking over. Now that she has a proper medium.
True.
Because the blade, when it was just a human weapon, was only sealing her abilities, so she couldn't tap into them without consequence. Now that she actually has a proper weapon.
My problem here is I see the law of escalation coming into play.
Yeah.
You give her a more focused, specialized weapon. She has this new ability that the weapon allows her to channel, and she takes out this entire horde of demons, which, I mean, granted, we don't know exactly how weak they were. I mean, Maroha and Kilala were ripping through them, and
they were
almost like it was nothing at first until they got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, law of escalation. You give them more power, better weapon, an OP, skill display like this, which just means, okay, from now on, everything that comes at her or the group in general is going to have to be even more OP.
Yeah.
Because if Setsuna can just literally take her weapon and go shink and slice them in two and be done with it, it's not going to make for a very compelling series.
No.
So we're going to get some more fights. We're going to get some better fights, I think, this season.
So I think the best way to wrap this up pretty much, because even after this whole moment, there's not a lot besides when Shishomaru, before he leaves, he hands off Tenseiga to Todesai. He's like, here, you can get this fixed.
Maroha becomes the comic relief again, throwing a fit that she didn't get a special weapon.
But the comments that Todesai makes as Shishomaru is leaving, I find it hilarious.
Well, and this sets up where we go from here. Todesai is the one that gives them their next objective. And says, go find this and get one of these, and this is how you'll be able to beat Kirinmaru.
Yep. So, from what Todesai says as Shishomaru is, I haven't seen him in a while, but he's grown more tolerant, that Shishomaru. From the cocky, snarky, wanna-kill-you person
to somebody who will actually stand there and try to, in his own way, help his daughters.
And his niece.
And his niece, yeah.
He hasn't left her out, even though he doesn't show as much to her, but he still interacts in a way that an uncle, he as a uncle could be for Shishomaru.
Correct.
Because he knows he wouldn't hear the end of it. If he left Maroha out and actually did not take care of her in some way, he wouldn't hear the end of it from Rin. And then when it comes to Kagome, when she finally gets out.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, we're taking bets on which one of them whips his ass first.
Well, no,
whether it be his brother, his sister-in-law, or his wife.
I don't know if you remember, but like from the original, I remember he had this really weird thing with Kagome of almost ignoring her. Like he'd be talking to Inuyasha and he'd almost ignore her, but like he also like would turn away from her and like walk away. Like if she would start on something and he was like, "Oh shit, I'm leaving." And he just had this look on his face. He was always like, he's like, "I could kill her, but like, oh, she's crazy." Like
Crazy, but I think in some way, because even though Shishomaru always had the hate for Inuyasha's mother as well.
there was a respect.
Yeah.
I think he had he had like an odd respect for her. I feel like, just from the things she had done and
The strength she has shown as a human.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a respect for her that I think is there, but as much as Shishomaru can have for anybody.
So
Shishomaru flies off with Jokin. Kodasai takes Tensaiga to supposedly prepare it, gives Sasuna their next quest, which I guess we'll start seeing in episode 2.
Mm-hmm. And this is where he brings up the moment of you can't infuse demon power into human weapons.
Yeah. Which makes me wonder, what was the origin of the sword she was using?
What, Toa's?
Toa.
We gotta remember, it was already a broken blade as it was.
It was a human
blade.
But
eventually
that's what I'm saying.
It would break even more. Because you gotta think, even for Satsuna, before it formed into the blade it is now, she had to keep maintenance on it regularly. Because her demon energy would pretty much eat at the blade.
True, but Sasuna was also bound to her weapon.
Yeah.
Moroku put that seal and used the weapon as a medium to keep her demon powers tamped down.
So
I can understand her weapon wearing down because her power growing and growing and growing and pushing against that seal.
Yeah. But there's also the thing of Toa, as we've come to respect or probably even agree on at this point, that Toa is more on the, I would say, pure side of the demon spectrum. Like you have the good and evil of the demon energy, and then
the yin, the yang, the angelic and the demon.
And then you have Toa, I try too much.
Kind of thing with her. So that could also be a prevention, or the jewel might have had some interaction that prevent something. Who knows?
Could be. And of course, the whole time that we were watching, Toa was trying to resurrect Sasuna. The only thing I was thinking of, it'd be a lot easier to channel your power if you weren't such an idiot and gave away the pearl.
Give away the pearl.
Kind of a thing here. One thing that really stuck out to me, real quick, is the fact that Sasuna didn't realize she was dead.
They don't notice it.
You gotta remember, too, like you said, she hasn't slept in a bazillion years, so that was like a nice nap.
Right, but correct me if I'm wrong, those that have been resurrected by Tensaiga in the past, they knew they were dead.
It all matters on the perspective, but also you gotta remember, when she died with a smile on her face. So, she pretty much died willingly, died happily, type case. So there was really, because if you notice also, when she was laying there and they started taking her soul, she was still out, like she was sleeping. Her eyes or anything didn't move until she woke up. It could have been something
with the dream butterfly too. Yeah. With the dream butterfly blocking it.
That's the way I really kind of think about it, is it had something to do with that interaction with the dream butterfly right before Toa was able to channel enough to see the actual
Even though we have the knowledge of the dream butterfly is still a giant mystery.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it really makes me wonder what the overarching story is with that, especially given what we see in the new opening with Sasuna having the beam of butterfly energy, if you want to call it that, bolting out of her chest, and then we see it wrapping around the Tree of Ages into the tree as Shishomaru walks up and channeling into Rin. I mean, obviously, the foreshadowing I'm getting from this new opening is Rin's going to wake up. We're going to get Riku again at some point in the season. We're going to have more throwdowns with Kirin Maru, obviously. And at some point, Inuyasha and Kagome are going to show up.
Yeah, that's pretty much that. I will say I do like this ending they did for the series.
It was
very pretty.
It was cute. It was cute.
Kind of pretty much letting them be girls, or let them be them.
I don't know if it's like giving a hint, that they may go back to the current present time, or if it's just cutesy for cutesy's sake.
Cutesy, but also it could be the possibility that they could, because if they do end up having the ability to do so, you very well know Kagome would like to go home, because you got to think she took a sacrifice staying there, knowing that once she stayed, she was there. There was no going back.
She was never going home.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, during the opening, we also see several shots of like Toa in modern day, and we also catch back up with Kagome's family that adopted Toa.
Oh, and you also got to remember from last season, we still have the comet appearing in the modern era.
Mm-hmm. With Mr. Kieran.
So I think we will end this episode here for Yashahime.
Do we want to discuss next week's preview? Next week's preview is interesting.
There's a lot going on.
The only thing I will say is apparently next week may or may not be a Monster of the Week type deal, just because we do have the idea of, this weird demon that's attacking women with beautiful hair. We see Riku come back. We see a giant serpent type monster. So, Asuna, there's your nope rope. But the thing that stands out to me is this image that we have in the trailer of, it looks like Riku turned to stone with this red, like, wavy energy thread floating behind him, and then Toa fighting in sunglasses and Setsuna fighting with her eyes closed.
Yeah, there's just so much going here. I can't even tear it apart.
I'm thinking this is some sort of Gorgon type monster. No, but I mean,
I don't know.
Does anybody know of any creatures, demons, monsters, spirits, or anything in Japanese culture that turned their enemies to stone? Because I can't think of any. All I think about is like the Gorgon and Medusa.
Yeah.
Which is a completely different culture.
As we said, this is Yashahime, episode 1 of Act 2. Hope you enjoyed. Be prepared for 2 episodes coming out this week. One of this and one of 86. I am Rainwolf.
I'm Kirito Silverheart.
I'm Asuna Silverheart.
Remember to leave a like, comment, maybe even subscribe. And until next time.
Bye.